嗨，大家好，我是 Tom， 今天来跟大家聊一下独旅，就是 solo travel， 一个人去旅行。大家有尝试过独旅吗？就是没有任何旅伴，然后就一个人出发去旅行。好，那我跟 Natalie 老师都是独旅的爱好者哦，那我们也会互相分享一些 solo travel 的经验和有趣的东西哦。当然，今天我不是要来推广独旅哦，或者说啊，你一定要独旅啊，认识自我啊，怎样怎样啊。毕竟有时候旅行有人一起分享或是讲讲话也不错嘛，对不对？不过如果大家没有尝试过独旅的话，我是蛮推荐可以尝试看看的，或许会有什么不一样的体验哦。不过说到这里呢，很多人如果想尝试独旅，或许都会考虑到安全的问题，或是不知道需要先做什么准备。那我觉得 Natalie 老师有非常多的独旅经验，包括东南亚、南美洲啊、印度之类的，而且她都是自己一个，就是一个女生就直接跑过去，我觉得很猛尤其她有些去的国家真的是治安出了名的糟糕哦。所以我觉得这个话题请他来分享应该是会蛮不错的。那一样我用视讯跟他聊然后一样是纯英文的聊天内容，给大家练习一下听力。那影片下面的说明栏一样有附上今天聊天内容的中英文对照表，那大家可以下载来看看哦。好，那这边我有收集了一些来自学生的问题，我等一下就来打视讯给他，然后看看他有什么想法之类的。
So the first question they might have is that, for example, like Natalie, you are a woman. How can you just travel alone to all these places like Thailand, South America? It's so dangerous, right?
My argument is London safe? Like if you live in a big city and look at your home country first, are you safe in where you're currently living? When I'm in London, I take precautions. I listen to general advice on how to keep myself safe. I don't always walk alone at night. I make sure that I have a planned route home. I'm not on my phone all the time where someone could grab it and so on. So I make sure that I follow the general safety precautions. When you're traveling, you follow the same precautions. You keep yourself safe depending on the context that you're in. There is not one place or one city or one group of people that you'll be safer or not safer surrounded by. So what I would say is, like, there were some instances in some countries that I traveled abroad that I felt much safer in than my home country, right? For example, I traveled South America. I traveled Brazil, like Colombia, Ecuador, and these are notoriously known for being unsafe places to travel. But I talked to locals, I listened to their advice, and I followed it. And all the people that I met out there traveling were absolutely fine. I didn't hear any negative experiences. So basically, my overall response to that is, if you apply the same criteria of keeping yourself safe wherever you go in the world, that's as much precaution as you can take. And it shouldn't put you off from experiencing the world and experiencing life, basically.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Totally makes sense. But there's a second question.
Okay.
Also relate to this one. It's like, okay, so London is a very well-developed city. It's an international city. What if you travel somewhere that is not that well-developed? Maybe you can't get what you want there. Don't you feel insecure or something?
Depends what you're talking about. What kind of things?
Like maybe you don't know the traffic, like you don't know the public transport system there that well. Maybe they don't have very good transport system there, public transport system. Maybe you need some help, like you need some medical services, but they don't have enough medical resources for you. You don't know how to, you don't know what to do when you are sick. You don't know what to do when something happened to you. Don't you worry about this?
I've been in many situations like that, and I've always found a solution. What I would say is to be informed. So understand roughly what the situation is there. Understand what kind of medical resources they have out there. Are there private hospitals that you can go to without any kind of waiting time? What does your insurance cover and things like that? And also, you just generally speak to people who are either from the country or who have been, read blog posts, just gain an understanding. But ultimately, once again, once you're in the situation, you will find your way out. You know, in less developed countries, you need to follow, like I said, have a little bit more research in you and understand a bit more of the context.
Yeah.
But what you'll find as you travel is that there are more resources and more solutions out there than you anticipate. For example, to cut a long story short, I split open part of the skin on my head when I was in Bali. Yeah. It wasn't good. And I freaked out, you know, obviously. But what did I do? I just was like, okay, now what? You know, I had some people around me. Once again, there are people around you. You know, there are other travelers you can talk to and ask for help. You can ask the reception of a hostel, for example, and they helped me. Like, right, I'm in this situation. Where do I go? You ask the receptionist, try a clinic. Which one should I go to? Okay, Google a few clinics. This one, call them. Yep, come in 5 minutes. Get in a taxi and you're there. And I had actually better care than I do in the UK. You know, so do your research, do your homework, apply basic logic and rules, and also ask people around you. People are always willing to help.
So yeah, of course, we should always reach out for help. But again, there's another question. There's yet another question, which is that as you travel to countries where you don't know so well and you don't know anyone there, don't you worry about the frauds, because as we know, there are a lot of frauds, you know, especially for tourists, right? How do you deal with this situation?
I think it really depends what the potential scams are. You know, for example, if the scam is like that they're overcharging you for something,
it's pretty common.
Then it is what it is. That's how I view it. Like, you try to know what the price is before you go in to buy something. So for example, you go into a market and you want to buy something. You kind of ask some locals, how much do you normally pay for this? So that you can understand what the benchmark is and when they're ripping you off. But in more serious situations, you know, when with taxis and hotels and things like this, first of all, you need to, once again, do your research and talk to locals on what are your trusted sources. For example, I would book hostels because that's how I met other people. And I would use Hostelworld, because Hostelworld, I think, is a trustworthy source of reviews and information. And if you book it through the website, then you know that it's a legitimate place. So having your tools that you use to apply to different countries. So like using Hostelworld or using TripAdvisor, or whatever it may be. And with taxis, I always looked up in advance which ones are the ones you can trust and how do you know. So, for example, do they have a specific license? Is it only the yellow ones that look like this? You need to know which ones are the reliable ones. So I guess it once again comes down to researching in advance some of the basic things, using the same consistent tools that you trust and you know are verified, and also speaking to locals again. Who do I trust and who do I not trust?
So speaking to locals and do your research, that's important.
Yeah, both of them. You just have to have awareness. You have to have presence. You can't be like, I'm on holiday now, I'm not going to think. You know, you need to be thinking, you need to be present. I think a lot of people have something like holiday brain, and they're like, oh, I don't need to think. But, you know, if you want to travel safely by yourself, you need to, you know, not stress, but be alert and be informed, basically.
Yes. You can just like switch the mode totally, huh?
Yeah, you can't just disengage.
OK，
好，我觉得他提供的一些建议和想法是蛮有用的如果大家想尝试独旅练习英文听的同时，也可以参考看看哦。那我们就下次再见吧。